Hi, I'm Heidi Iverson. I teach anatomy and physiology at North Seattle Community College. The purpose of this tutorial is to show you how to look at a prepared slide using a light microscope. The steps for that are, number one, obtain a prepared glass slide. Number two, I assume that your microscope is at your desk, it's plugged in, you've got the power switch on, and the dimmer is probably in the mid position. I recommend starting your slide work with the stage all the way down to give maximal working distance between the objectives and the sample. So what we're going to do is make sure the stage is down and make sure that we also have the scanning power objective in place. It's the 4X objective. In case you forgot, it's the one that has the red band around it. So we got our slide, and to place the slide on the stage, we need to utilize a part of the mechanical stage, the silver part here. So I take my left thumb and I push on this little lever and it opens up the clamp of the mechanical stage. This allows enough room to accommodate a slide. You want to try to aim the top right corner of your slide to the back right corner of the mechanical stage. So I'm going to do that, make sure it's totally flat. And when it's in place, you slowly release the clamp, and that will help to secure your slide during your work. One of the most important things to do when looking at slides is to make sure that your specimen is centered on the light. So to do that, we utilize these pieces of the scope here called the stage adjust knobs. So you want to make sure that your specimen is centered, meaning in the front to back plane, and also in the left right. I'm lucky, mine is perfectly centered, so I'm ready to go. But make sure that that's the case for you as well. Now we want to put our eyes towards the oculars and patiently, while looking through the objectives, move the stage upward. It may take a little while, so be patient. So move your stage up, and I have spotted something. Notice I'm only using the coarse adjust knob for that process. The next thing we would do is use the fine focus knob to bring your sample into sharp focus. So I'll do that. You may or may not need to adjust the light at this point. Now, if you've done all of these things and the image, the specimen is a bit blurry, you may want to consider using a feature of the left ocular. There's an adjust knob here that allows us to change the focus slightly to accommodate different vision strengths or vision. So what you do is you close your right eye and you open your left eye and look through the scope. Use the knob to make the image as clear as possible for your eye. Once that's done, you then switch and you close your left eye, you open your right eye, and now you use the fine adjust knob to finish the focusing process. Okay, all set. You may at this point want to make a sketch of what you see, or you may not, it just depends. But more often than not, you will probably want to take a look at your specimen at higher power. To do that is actually pretty easy, if everything has been done correctly so far. Because our scopes are confocal, it means that we are able to simply rotate the rotating nose piece and move the next higher power objective snugly into place. That's the yellow banded objective. It's a 10x power lens. Now, the image you see through the oculars may not be any longer perfectly centered, and it may not be, and it probably won't be in perfect focus, but it's there. If it's not there, something's wrong and you want to probably start back at scanning power. But I can see something and it's quite blurry. So what I do next is I use only the fine focus knob at this point. We never ever use the coarse focus knobs when the 10x or 40x objectives are in place. We cannot move the stage that coarsely at that point. So we use the fine knob only and get it crisp and clear, and you may choose to recenter your image. All's well, you may again want to sketch what you see or not, depending on your assignment and your work to do. You can take a further look once more. You can move up to the 40x, the high power objective. It's the blue banded objective, and it will sit right there in place. It may look to you like the objective is going to hit the slide, but it won't. So I take a look again. I could use a little more light. It's pretty dark in here, so I will use the dimmer knob, turn it up to 4 or 5, pass some more light through, and then of course revisit the focusing with the fine focus knob only. There we go. It's gorgeous. Cardiac muscle. Okay, so you've done your sketch. You're all done. How do we carefully and properly remove slides from the scope and then put the scope away? You almost do the reverse of what we just did. So, meaning I would please ask that you put the scanning power objective in place. I roll the coarse knob to move the stage down. I open up the mechanical stage clip and clamp, and I take out my slide, put it on my desk. I would then turn off my power switch, and I would unplug my scope. And then remember, we only carry our scopes using 2 hands, always ever 2 hands. So that would be 1 hand again on the handle back here, and then 1 hand would be underneath the base to support the weight of the scope. And you're done. Thanks for listening.